All right. So we did lesson one that we have freedom and the importance of freedom. So now that we have these abilities to shape our future, our destiny, we're going to ask, how do we take the right path in life? How do we make the good decision? And we're going to begin today to really dissect the human action into different parts to help us give almost like a mathematical formula for how to make the right decision or know that you are doing the right thing. It's lost. Thank you. All right. Okay, so here we go. And to do that, as the rest of the lesson is largely going to be an acronym, STOP. I got this from the textbook. Search out the facts of what you're doing. T, think about the consequences. Learn from others and pray. O for others, P for pray, STOP. Stop is your acronym. And today we're going to begin the S. Search out the facts, the parts of the action that you're doing. Such as the moral object. The moral object is the what. What are you doing? It's the very content, it's the action itself. Hopefully you got that on your vocab today. So in this picture, we're going to say this is a 7-year-old girl who is sneaking in cookies. It appears to be Chips Ahoy M&Ms, so we all know the lure and the power those cookies have within. And she's taking about 5 of them out of the kitchen. The implication is without mom's permission or against her mother's wishes, breaking the rules. Now, we don't know why she's doing it. It's just a picture, of course. It's a stock photo at that. She could be feeding a homeless man at the door. She could be having a tea party. She could be wanting to see how fast she can eat 5 cookies. We don't know why. But what we're talking about with moral object is if we're going to judge whether this action is right or wrong, we have to identify that it is a breaking of the rule, whereby you remove the cookies from the kitchen, from the cookie jar. And that is the moral object. That is what is happening. The why comes second. But we're just talking about the actual action. The Catholic Church would say and does say that some actions, some moral objects are always wrong, and that now is called an intrinsically evil action. You good, Keely? An intrinsically evil action is when the moral object that what you're doing can never be done correctly. It can never be justified. It can never be fitting because it is within itself a disorder. Their moral object, is always wrong and cannot be justified under any circumstances. Intrinsically evil actions. And this quote from the Catechism says that there are some concrete acts, such as fornication, which is sex outside of marriage, that it is always wrong to choose it because choosing it entails a disorder of the will that is a moral evil. So the Catechism only gives one example, fornication. So doing these certain actions, it's considered always the wrong answer, which means from a Catholic moral standpoint, you don't have to deliberate, oh, well, should I have sex with my boyfriend? Should I have sex with my girlfriend? If we understand that it's never appropriate in any circumstance, it's not always easy, but there's no deliberation. If you're letting your faith guide you, you commit, you consent to that direction. So for your bell ringer, you wrote down one action that you think is always, always, always wrong. And I want to hear it from you. We're going to go around the room, starting here with Alex, and we are going to identify actions that you think, or perhaps I've had one student so far say that they always think that there's a reason to do something. So I've only had one student today say that there are no intrinsically evil acts. So you can either say there are no intrinsically evil acts or name an action that you think is always, always, always wrong. Cheating, like academically? Yeah, in any scenario. Adultery. None?
I'm going to be your second student. I believe that, like, there's some acts, like, if you're poor, like, you could be like, either you die or you do this, then you're going to have to do it, like, to save your life for your own good.
All right, so I'm sorry, you're not the second student, you're the fourth. The two girls in front of you. There's this tic-tac-toe going on here. Okay, so if there's a gun to your head, if your life is at threat, you can do anything for that cause. You can do. You can say I do not believe in God or Jesus Christ. Hey, it's we're going to talk about not only that scenario, but we're talking about the whole chapter long. This is the chapter of having crazy scenarios, and what would you do, Melaine?
I kind of agree with Thomas because, say, killing someone is always wrong. The worst can means of self-defense.
Okay, so there's a difference. Okay, so I want you to kill Thomas. If you don't kill Thomas, I'll kill you. And that's the scenario, right? So you're going to say, well, I'm going to take out Thomas because I'm just a lot better looking than him, you know. And so Melaine is going to do that, and that's morally justifiable. In that instance, is there another person?
What if somebody's coming to your house?
Okay, yeah. Now we have to change the action. There's a difference between homicide/murder. Homicide/murder implies the fact that you're taking the life of an innocent person. Self-defense is this crazy person is coming after me, and as we will talk about when we get to the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," the Catechism itself says you can't take somebody's life. If it is purely out of self-defense. When a soldier kills an opponent, an enemy in battle, the concept is that enemy is attacking your livelihood in your home country. Whether you're there or not could be irrelevant. And so that is a self-defense even when you're normal. So yeah, self-defense is a different action, what we can say. Or you might even say killing somebody. But homicide and murder is killing an innocent person, which the church would, of course, say is intrinsically wrong. But in this case, Thomas is innocent. Thomas is an innocent human being. I just don't like him, you know? And so you got to kill an innocent person. So these are the things that we're going to be thinking about. Anna Marie. 5 in a row. Y'all are turning the tide. A what? Abortion. Rape. Cheating on a spouse. Adultery. You said cheating. I'm going to come back to you. Cheating on a spouse. Or cheating on a boyfriend, girlfriend. Just cheating. Okay. You know, you're okay with it here. Just checking. Danielle. Rape. Lying. Bruh. I've had about 5 students say lying. Connor. You put lying? There is no intrinsically evil action. Cheating. You didn't do it? Okay. So you kind of say no. Okay. Jada. Cheating. Louder. Denouncing your faith, example given earlier, and Cohen. Cheating. All right. Y'all are very mixed bag on this topic. There's a video I could very well, since y'all are my quietest class and we tend to have time at the end of class frequently with y'all. I'm probably in the next week or two, remind me to show you a video called 180. And it's a guy on the street interviewing random people about what is morally acceptable in certain situations. And he paints the picture of, you're alive during the Holocaust. And it's, of course, not just the Jewish people that Hitler was after, but anybody that was ill or challenged, including Down syndrome people, And a Nazi has a gun to your head, and this actually happened. We're not talking about lying. And the Nazi soldier says, "I want you to shoot these 100 people with Down syndrome, or you can push the bulldozer and bury them alive. And you have to choose. If you choose nothing, then you take a bullet." Now, for those of you that say there is no intrinsically evil action, to save your life, what?
He said they're gonna die anyway, so I'm not saying.
No, what he said is commonly believed. I'm just going to shoot him because if I don't, somebody else will.
Would that also be like almost suicide though? Like if he shoots you because you chose that?
Suicide is the taking of your own life. If you, in one sense, yeah. So you're allowing somebody to kill you, but you're not desiring them to do it.
What would that be called? Still murder?
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Is it murder?
Because you're kind of not necessarily choosing it,
But are you pulling the trigger? Are you driving the bulldozer? Are you ending the lives of people? Yes. Okay. What? I cannot speak to the entire veracity of that scenario, but it's a real scenario. I'll take a bullet.
So then, they shoot you and then you shoot all that.
What?
They're gonna shoot you and then they're just gonna shoot all the others.
Yes.
but you didn't have to do it.
And you die before, and you have a clean conscience before God. True story. I'm a brother. I'm in seminary, and I'm working at a hospital. I've told you some of these scenarios before. Same time I was going through the exorcism training, and this rough guy claiming to be on his deathbed tells me, "Come over here. I need to talk to you." I said, "Sir, I'm not a priest. Would you like me to get a priest so you can go to confession?" He goes, "I'm dying. I need to talk to somebody." Here I am. What do you want to talk about? He says, "I got some secrets I've never told anybody." I said, "Okay, well, we don't know each other, so go ahead." And he says that he was a sniper in the U.S. military, and I believe he was stationed in the country of Colombia, Central America. And in this country, the U.S. military force had an agenda, of which I don't know. To accomplish the agenda, the U.S. military agenda, they needed the rich man of the country, the Bill Gates, the big rich gun of the country, to cooperate with them, to help them achieve their goal. Rich man was not cooperating, not being friendly with the American military force. This sniper, who I'm talking to on his deathbed, says he was told, take out his 5-year-old son. Now what happens? He's got an option. He pulls the trigger. He does his job. He doesn't pull the trigger. What happens? He gets dishonorably discharged for not following an order. Gets that red mark or black mark, whatever you want to call it, on his record forever. Might even make it difficult to get a job. His whole life has changed. It's a little finger press or not. What are you doing in that instance? Oh, well, they're going to tell you to fire again. You didn't do your job, son. Not only that, you're fired from being a sniper.
What did you do?
What?
What did you do?
He fired. He killed a 5-year-old boy. Innocent. And he had to tell somebody before he died and met God. I said, sir, there's mercy for you. God will forgive you. Let me get a priest so we can actually take care of that, which is where I started off. So y'all will be in, hopefully not life and death scenarios, but I'll tell you another story that's much more realistic for the job that some of you may have. I had a priest friend when I was going through seminary. He worked in air conditioning. He was like a fix-it maintenance man for air conditioning and whatnot. He shows up to an old woman's house who says, everything's running fine, but there's a lot of noise coming from the unit, so I think something's broken in there. Could you check it out? My priest friend, before he had a conversion, goes to the house. He looks at the system, and he's talking to his boss. He says, yeah, the system's fine. It's working. There's just a loose screw that was bumping around. Boss says, what I want you to do is I want you to take out that engine or motor, and I want you to bring it to our shop, clean it up, go back tomorrow and sell it to her for, hundreds of dollars. I don't know how much it costs, but it would be hundreds of dollars. All he had to do was tighten a screw, move a screw, take it out. Problem fixed, $25 service fee, maybe $50 service fee. No. You got an opportunity. She's not going to know. This happens all the time. You want to be a mechanic? Oh, tell somebody there's something wrong with their car. There's nothing wrong with the car. Luckily, I have a brother-in-law who's a mechanic. I was told last time I got an oil change, oh, your drive belt is really worn down. You're going to need that drive belt fixed. I located where it was. It looked brand new to me. I got like 60 to 70,000 miles on my car. And then I got my mechanic brother-in-law said, hey, check out my drive belt. He goes, your drive belt looks fine. But it doesn't matter what profession you're in. Go work in business. Your boss is going to tell you, lie on this tax form. And what are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, it's for my job. It's for some money. I get paid more. I was in the situation in high school. I got a paycheck after working 50 hours, maybe 60 hours some summer weeks, flipping burgers and catering. I got a paycheck for 10 hours. I'm like, what the heck, boss? He goes, hey, don't worry about it. You see, once you work over 40 hours, you got to get paid overtime. Y'all know this. And so he didn't want to pay me extra, but that's what I deserve. So what's he going to do? He said, hey, bro. And he started dropping hundreds. He says, this way, you don't pay taxes, and I don't pay overtime. And I wrapped up hundreds of dollars, stuck in my pocket, and went back to flipping burgers.
He's still paying you.
He's still paying me. So that he's being fair to me. Is he being fair to the government? Is he paying his taxes? No. Am I paying my taxes? No.
He's still got to pay taxes. Yeah, but I mean,
But not as
it's not
much
that, but it's
because
like
you didn't pay
that's just
overtime.
like, it's not like he's just missing out on taxes completely.
Not completely, but largely. I mean, I got paid for 10. So for that week, of which I got a lot of money, let's say I worked 50 hours, I got paid for 10 maybe. It might have been 5 even. So, I mean, we're talking like 80-90% of my work was untaxed. I was in high school. And there's been one or two situations, even working in a Catholic school, where my morals are challenged. I don't need to give instances. You need to ask yourself, and this is largely the focus of the chapter, like, how do you handle these situations? What are you willing to do to keep your life alive? Will you shoot Down syndrome kids? Will you shoot a 5-year-old boy playing on a playground? For your own life, let's up it. He doesn't just get fired with a bad mark. What would you do? And some of you will say no. Some of you said that there's no intrinsically evil acts. You'll say no, I wouldn't do that. But would you expect other people to do that? And should anybody do that? Shoot 100 Down syndrome people. So that's the topic of the chapter largely.
Okay, so if you say like I'm gonna take a bullet, you're not saying that's selfish, but like you're thinking about your conscience. Whereas if you shot them, you know that like they died without like pain. You know what I'm saying? Like if they get buried alive, that's obviously gonna take a lot of hurt. If you know that you shot them and they died, whatever, they ain't coming.
So you're going to shoot him saying, "Don't worry, everybody, you're going to heaven." Is that what you're going to be thinking? Like, I'm going to shoot them knowing that they're going to heaven? And then what do you say to God?
Well, you get the self conscious for them because so that they have to die
But they're painful death. So you're saying somebody else might bury them alive, and it might be worse.
Yeah, I'm saying they're gonna die anyway.
They're gonna die anyway. Well, you might as well kill them
So I know that.
so that you stay alive.
No, I'm probably not too.
Yeah. So there's the point. There's another point that if you say, okay, I will kill them. What's to stop the Nazi from killing you afterwards, anyways?
I thought you said you were like a prisoner.
Sure. Yeah, I mean your life is at the end of a gun. You're a prisoner. It doesn't matter what country you're in. So yeah, I mean that's that what is something that you would never ever do that? Well, because here's the thing, and we're going to talk. Like I said, I keep saying we're going to talk about this for the rest of the chapter. But if there is nothing for which you would die, there's probably nothing that you're living for either. There's got to be. If your life has meaning or value, if you believe in truth, there's got to be something you take a bullet for. In my mind, otherwise, I don't know. What you think, Thomas?
So, like, most of the time, like, the dude that shot the 5-year-old, that's like a quick, like, you don't even have time to think. You think, like, some stuff you don't even have time to, like.
Sometimes, yeah.
So, and then you think about it after, like, you probably thought about it after the fact, and then was like I should have done, like, yeah. Like,
I don't know. He didn't tell me how much time he had.
Like, you could have had, like, you could have not have time to think, and then.
He could have had 24 hours. He could have had 2 minutes. And that's why I think this class is very valuable for your life. Because if you think through and you establish, maybe you don't agree with every moral principle I give you this chapter, but if you create your own moral code and you can commit to, I will not lie on taxes for my boss. I will not steal from a widow when I'm going to fix her air conditioning unit. If you can think this through, when you're in the situations and you have to pull a trigger within the next 30 seconds, you're going to be ready to say, no, do with me as you will. I will not kill that child. And so that's what I think is really the value. I mean, let's just talk high school. Somebody offers you a smoke, a heavy drink. Somebody, things are escalating sexually really quickly with your significant other. Like, you need to premeditate these scenarios and be prepared to handle them. Yeah, but most of us, I mean, we kind of dodge it. On this slide, it's a lot of words. You don't have to write them down, but you may want to know, so what actions are intrinsically evil? This is a list. It's not a complete list, but this is something St. John Paul II in Veritatis Splendor, paragraph 80, said that this is a further elaboration. The Catechism said fornication. You won't find fornication on this list. But John Paul II is saying there's a couple things that we need to outwardly condemn. Homicide, killing an innocent person. Genocide. When is it okay to say, let's wipe out this race? When? Abortion, euthanasia, when somebody's old and sick and dying, it's never okay to just end their life intentionally. Voluntary suicide, meaning not like you accidentally killed yourself, but you intentionally killed yourself. And we'll go through the rest. Hopefully you got something to think about. Have a good day.